What's going on, guys? B Scott here with you on today's show. We got your running back sit starts heading in to week number 10. I'm going to rattle off my top 10 running backs of the week. Then I'm going to talk some must-start running backs and some guys that I don't like I'm sitting this week. So keep it locked and loaded right here at the first four downs. What's going on, guys, and welcome back. As I mentioned in the preview, we're going through the running back sit starts heading in to week number 10. So obviously how I like to do this, I like to rattle off your must-start running backs, then some guys I think you should be starting, and a couple guys you should probably be sitting. So before we get to today's content, don't forget, like the video, subscribe, share, thumb bell, all that good stuff, and then comment. There's a running back I didn't mention because I'm not mentioning every single one. Drop it in the comment section. I'll be glad to give you my advice, whether you start him, sit him, flex him, put him over another guy, whatever you want to look at. Drop in the comment section. I'll be glad to give you my advice. So let's start at the top with, in my opinion, the top 10 running backs that I would be starting at the week. Set it and forget it. First off, Jonathan Taylor versus Jacksonville Jaguars. Honestly looking like the RB1 at the moment, especially with Derrick Henry out. He's been great. He's going to keep it rolling. You're starting Jonathan Taylor. Austin Eckler playing the Minnesota Vikings. He's getting it done in both areas, receiving and rushing. So you're starting Austin Eckler. Alvin Kamara facing the Tennessee Titans. You got to roll with them. Top 5 option. So keep firing up Alvin Kamara. You're never sitting him. Najee Harris versus Detroit Lions. Played great. And he's just nothing but getting better every single week. Good spot for him. Should probably finish inside the top 5 at the running back position. I like Najee Harris this week. Cordero Patterson, at this point, is a must-start running back. Top 10, playing very well. Over 100 yards receiving last week against the New Orleans Saints. Now he's at the Dallas Cowboys. He's going to make his work in garbage time or in regular time, wherever it is. He's doing well. You're starting Cordero Patterson. Aaron Jones, playing the Seattle Seahawks. Should be a bounce-back game here. Yes, they've been really leaning heavily on A.J. Dillon and utilizing Aaron Jones in the pass protection, especially with Aaron Rodgers out last week. So this week, Aaron Rodgers hopefully will be back, even if he's not back. Seattle, giving up third most fantasy points to the running back position, and just a good spot for Aaron Jones to really bounce back this week. So you're starting Aaron Jones. Zeke Elliott facing the Atlanta Falcons, barring his health. Obviously, he was in and out of the game lineup a little bit last week. But on top of that, if he's going, you're firing him. Should be a smash spot. Darrell Henderson, at this point, is a must-start running back every single week. Playing the San Francisco 49ers. Decent spot for him there. Dalvin Cook, obviously there's some allegations coming out about him, so we'll have to wait and see later on in the week. But if he's out there and playing, Los Angeles Chargers, absolute smash spot. Chargers give up a lot of yards to the running back position, so Dalvin Cook should see a big day here. And then Christian McCaffrey, he's back. They're playing the Arizona Cardinals. At this point, you're never sitting Christian McCaffrey. No matter what. If he's on the field, you're starting him. So that rounds out my top 10 running backs heading in to week number 10. So let's get to some must-start guys. Guys that I think you should probably be having in your lineups for sure this week. And at the top of my list, I got Melvin Gordon. I even got Javonte Williams kind of hyphenated here because I like both of them in the matchup versus the Philadelphia Eagles. They've both been effective in spurts. And last week, we saw it. They ran all over the Dallas Cowboys. 21 carries, 80 yards, and a touchdown for Melvin Gordon. Javonte Williams finished with his first 100-yard game on 17 carries, 111 yards. And Melvin Gordon, back-to-back games with a rushing touchdown, 3 straight games with a touchdown overall. And Philadelphia giving up the 6th most fantasy points to the running back position, the 6th most yards, the most receptions to the running back position. And it's just a good spot here at home for both these running backs to be able to feast on a defense that hasn't necessarily been great. So I like Melvin Gordon as a start this week, and Javonte Williams as well. Both of them flex options. Melvin Gordon's been flirting with the RB2 numbers all season long, so Melvin Gordon got him in their lineups this week. Next guy, James Conner, playing the Carolina Panthers. Not a good matchup, to be honest. Carolina's, I want to say, bottom 5 against the running back position. They play the running backs pretty tough. But overall, they did end up giving, I want to say, over 100 rushing yards in total to the New England Patriots just last week. And then this week, James Conner, no Chase Edmonds. Probably going to be put on IR, got the high ankle sprain. Should see an increase in the volume. You saw it last week. Insane line that he put up. 21 carries, 96 yards, 2 touchdowns. 5 catches for another 77 yards and a touchdown. James Conner's pretty talented. His legs are pretty fresh, and he's played very well. And on top of that, if Kyler Murray was to be active in this game, that probably would help James Conner in this matchup. But either way, I like him as going forward from here on out, a mid-range RB2 that's going to flirt with RB1 numbers on any given week. I want to say leads the NFL in touchdowns overall with 11 for a positional player. So incredible numbers for James Conner, and I think it's just going to keep it rolling here. I know it's a little tough spot, but you got to have him in your lineups this week. Next guy, Darrell Williams. at the Las Vegas Raiders. Las Vegas, tied for 9th most fantasy points to the running back position, allowing 4.6 yards per carry to the running backs. And Darrell Williams is seeing a lot of volume. Now, yes, 2 weeks ago we worried because Derek Gore, you saw him get some run, and he had some carries and he got the touchdown. But Darrell Williams really has a stranglehold on this backfield. The following game, 19 carries just this last week for 70 yards, just 3 receptions for 7 yards, but dominated the backfield touches. And really, since given the starting job, he's averaged 15 carries per game, and that's including a dud in which he had only 5 carries. So he's getting enough volume to make it work, and I like the spot here against the Las Vegas Raiders. Whether it's in pass protection and he needs to be in there on passing downs or running the ball effectively on early downs. So Darrell Williams, you got to have him in your lineups this week. Next guy, Devin Singletary. Now, Zach Moss dealing with a concussion, it looks like. We'll have to wait and see later on in the week if he's healthy and good to go. If Zach Moss is out, I like Devin Singletary as a rock-solid RB2. Playing the New York Jets, give up the most fantasy points to the running back position, the most touchdowns, the most receptions, just tons and tons of fantasy points to the running backs. 14 rushing touchdowns, and you saw what happened last week. Jonathan Taylor just ignited on the New York Jets. I don't see that stopping this week. The Bills really got to get it back going, and I think you can start with the run game. Devin Singletary's played very well in spots and spurts, but if Zach Moss were to miss this game and he sees the lion's share of the workload, period, I like him as a solid RB2 heading into this week. So Devin Singletary, got to get him into your starting lineups. Now pay attention to the Zach Moss news. And to be honest, if Zach Moss is back in the lineup, I like Zach Moss a potential start too. There could be some garbage time here. I don't necessarily think the Jets could score some points, and I'm hoping the Bills can just bounce back. They've looked terrible over the last couple weeks, especially on offense. They got to get it going. And I think it could start with the run game here. Devin Singletary and Zach Moss, both these guys, I love them this week, heading against the New York Jets. So now on to a couple sits. For me, Alex Collins is a sit for me. Now, yes, Chris Carson, the news is he's supposed to be practicing. We'll have to wait and see if that comes to fruition. If Chris Carson is to be out of this game, I still don't like Alex Collins personally because Rashad Penny. Since Rashad Penny was back, they've literally split this backfield in half. And so now you're taking a running back that's an early down workhorse, splitting his carries in half to 10 to 12. I don't love the matchup, and he really needs a touchdown to get it done here at the Green Bay Packers. It's not a terrible matchup, but it's not a great one either. Their defense has really stepped it up, and especially when Aaron Rodgers is out. So Alex Collins, I don't love the matchup, and I don't think the volume's going to be there enough because of Rashad Penny to be fantasy viable this week. And then the Tennessee running backs as a whole, I got them as a sit. Playing the New Orleans Saints, I mean, Jeremy McNichols, Adrian Peterson, Deontay Foreman. It's a three-headed monster. And at this point, I don't love the matchup. The New Orleans Saints give up the 5th fewest fantasy points to the running back position, the fewest yards, and they literally give up 2.8 yards per carry to the running back position. Can you start Adrian Peterson even if he gets 15 carries? You hope he falls in the end zone. I mean, he did last week, but I just don't see it this week. I don't love Adrian Peterson. And then Jeremy McNichols, yes, he's getting a little bit more carries, but not enough to be viable, and his passing down work is just too volatile. He's not getting enough. And then at this point, Deontay Foreman is just a thorn in the side of Adrian Peterson. So I don't love any of these running backs, especially this week. Just a tough spot and too many question marks around all these running backs to be able to choose which one is going to be a viable starter. So for me, I'm sitting all the Tennessee running backs this week. So that's it. That's your running back sit starts. Your obvious top 10 must starts, some starts of the week, and some sits of the week. And if you have any questions about any running backs, because there's a lot I didn't mention, drop in the comment section. I'll be glad to give you my advice. Start them, sit them, flex them, what they're going to really do, what their outlook could be possibly on the week. I mean, I'll give you anything that you're asking for. So, and once you're there, like the video, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. So for the first 4 downs, it's been B. Scott, and I'm out.